Sometimes you have to make big cuts in your life, huge ones, tough ones, but always know that it's for your peace of mind. The thing that you have to think about in your life is that people that you've had to pull yourself away from, it was not an immediate decision. More than likely, you've spent a lot of time, some of you, spent a lot of time trying to see the best in them, trying to understand their situation, reflecting on yourself and thinking of maybe there's some things you have done or you could have done better, and you continue to do that. When you finally make that decision, most people that have to make these decisions, it was nothing that was rash or emotional. You'll find that perhaps the people that you continue to have in your life were easily able to cut you off. They're able to keep that distance, but because you love them or because of who they are, you did your best to maintain those things. You were willing to apologize. You were willing to take whatever they dish out because you felt in being there and remaining in the friendship or the relationship, siblings, parents, you felt this would be the right thing to do. And it is the right thing to do with the right person. It is the right thing to do with someone who is able to reciprocate, understand, at the very least respect you. But you'll find sometimes by reciprocating, you leave yourself tethered and tied to a continuous cycle of abuse or indifference. And so at some point, you have to learn to make the cut. Now, when you make the cut, people will begin to say, oh, how terrible you are, or try to talk you out of it, or they don't understand. And the fact that they don't understand is indicative of the level of absolute just ignorance or how tone deaf they are. Most times they know what they've done, but they just don't see you in the light of their behavior being, meaning they don't see you in a way that they felt that they should have been different or behaved differently or reacted differently to you. So sometimes you have to make that cut. The cut is for your peace of mind. The cut is for your growth. The cut is for your healing. And when you make this cut, what is very important is that you go through a process with God to help you so you can realize who you are, get to know yourself, that you will forgive, because you can separate yourself. But if you don't allow God to really deal with your heart, if you don't allow the Lord to really deal with the hurt and pain and take you through the process of forgiveness, the process. I say process because it's not one and done. Some things are hard. You need to be allowed the time to grieve, to hurt, to really feel. But in that, you want to be able to forgive and let go. Because if you don't, you're going to carry their poison with you. It's almost as if, you've been, it's like a woman. She can get pregnant. She can carry the seed of that man. And as she carries his seed, it begins to grow and germinate. And then it becomes a child. And then the child becomes just grow, okay? So that's the thing with hurt and pain. If you can distance yourself, but you will grow your own little garden and forest of resentment and bitterness and anger, if you carry that seed that they plant in you and you don't want to work through it by forgiving. Forgiving in some cases can allow you to reconcile with those individuals. However, sometimes, depending on the individual, while forgiveness is a necessity, it does not always mean reconciliation. So understand those cuts are for your health. The Bible says in John chapter 15, Jesus says, I am the vine, and my Father is I am the true vine, and you are the branches, and my Father is the husbandman. That's the one that goes around pruning. Okay? So he says, he'll come around and he'll cut some things. He'll trim some things off so that you can grow. You see? And sometimes you have to trim off these relationships so that you can produce more fruit and you can grow. Because sometimes you're stagnant, your roots are restricted, and you're being kept in a place where you're thinking so differently of yourself based on the abuse, the neglect, the things that they've done. You live in such a level of toxicity. You follow the cycle with them that in which you're up and down and high and low, and you're not going to be able to thrive. You're not going to be able to be the best person you can be for someone who you meet down the line, friends, loved ones, friends, spouse, your associates. You won't be right for them. And sometimes you could be married and you can have children, but because you're so used to being in this toxic relationship with whoever, you go home and you will take those things out on your family. So understand that the cuts, the big cuts, the big chops are for your growth, even though it may feel uncomfortable. All right, guys.